All right, let's dive into a really powerful story. It's a parable, really, about what happens when your deepest beliefs crash head-on with a brutal reality. We're going to meet a man named Pastor Juan, and he's someone whose faith was pushed right to the breaking point by the suffering he saw all around him, every single day. So the whole thing really kicks off with this one big question, a question that absolutely haunted Pastor Juan. And honestly, it's a question that's probably at the core of this whole parable. When you look around and see so much pain, so much injustice, you have to ask, where is God in all of this?
So here's the scene. Our story starts in this small, really poor village. Pastor Juan, he's just gotten there, and he's filled with this sense of purpose, right? He feels called to be there. But man, it doesn't take long for him to see this huge, gaping disconnect, this canyon really, between the hopeful words he's reading in the scriptures and the brutal, day-to-day struggle for survival he's seeing with his own two eyes.
And this is the moment where that inner conflict really comes to a head. He's up early one morning, and he's reading these incredible, powerful words from Isaiah. You'd think that would be inspiring, right? But for him, it's the total opposite. The words feel like a joke, almost a cruel mockery of what's happening right outside his window, where his people are just stuck, completely trapped by poverty with no way out. He just couldn't make it make sense. And, this wasn't some kind of theological debate in his head. No, this was a full-blown personal crisis. I mean, he'd look at his own family, just barely getting by, and then at all the families in his little church. And those promises from Scripture, they just felt empty, hollow. And that question just got louder and louder until it was all he could hear. So there he is, right in the middle of this dark night of the soul. His doubt is at an all-time high. And then he hears a knock at the door. It's late, really late, and he's definitely not expecting company. You can just imagine, right? He's confused, maybe a little scared. I mean, who comes knocking this late? Nobody. So he walks over to the door, super cautious, just trying to figure out who on earth is out there. And the voice that answers him? Well, it says something that just seems impossible. But there's something about it. It's calm, it's persistent, and the visitor makes this simple, profound request. Show me what is breaking your heart. And Pastor Juan, probably in total shock, just opens the door. Okay, and this is the pivot point. This is where everything changes. It's where the harsh reality of his village collides with something divine. Pastor Juan actually agrees. He decides to take this visitor on a tour. But it's not just a tour of the village, it's a tour of his own despair. So they start walking right through these dark, muddy paths. And Juan, he holds nothing back. He points out every single wound, every broken piece of his community. He shows them the whole messy picture. The individual tragedies, the corrupt leaders, the literal garbage piling up. It's like he's reading a list of every single thing that causes him pain. And after he's seen everything, after he's heard all these awful stories, the visitor doesn't give him some complicated answer. He doesn't roll out a 5-point plan. His response is so simple, so human. He just weeps. He feels Juan's heartbreak right alongside him. And that moment, that shared grief, that's the real turning point. Because right after that, the visitor gives Pastor Juan something totally new. He gives him a vision, a glimpse of the village, not as it currently is, but as it was always intended to be. And just like that, Juan sees it all change. Imagine this. It starts with something so small. The poorest people in his church, they start sharing what little they have. Just a little rice here, a bar of soap there. But that one tiny act, it starts a ripple effect, creating this whole new culture of looking out for each other, which then leads to jobs, to stability for the entire community. And it wasn't just the people. The physical world around them transforms too. Those leaky, dangerous shacks, they become safe, sturdy homes. And that awful garbage dump in the middle of the village, it's gone. In its place is a beautiful park, filled with trees and the sound of children laughing and playing. The whole place just starts to reflect this new sense of pride and dignity. But the most powerful part? The people themselves are healed. The woman who was so desperate, she finds a good, respectable job. The alcoholic father who was so abusive, he becomes this loving, present dad. And get this, even the corrupt village chief has a total change of heart and starts using his power for good. We're talking about total head-to-toe restoration here. And where's the heartbeat of all this change? The church. It's not some tiny rundown building anymore. No, it is overflowing with people. It's vibrant, it's alive, it's filled with men and women just worshiping with pure joy. And who's up there leading them? Pastor Juan. But he's not leading from despair anymore. He's leading from a place of real love and real hope.
So after showing him this absolutely breathtaking vision of what's possible, the visitor turns back to Pastor Juan. Because see, this vision wasn't just a pretty picture to look at. It came with a mission.
And Juan, well, he's just completely floored. The vision is amazing, of course. But the distance between that world and the one he's living in, it feels like 1,000,000 miles. All he can see is what they don't have. No money, no resources. And that feeling of powerlessness comes crashing right back down on him. But the visitor pushes back, gently. He asks him a series of questions that are just so powerful. He's reminding Juan, hey, think about it. The biggest, most incredible changes in history. They never happen because people had enough resources. They happen because of a power way bigger than them, a power that makes the impossible possible.
And the instructions he gets, they're not complicated. It all boils down to this super simple 3-step plan. No big budget required, no complex strategy needed. It's just 1, share whatever you've got. 2, talk about this vision, proclaim it. And 3, trust. Trust that a power bigger than you will take care of the rest.
And then, just like that, he hears his wife cough, and it snaps him back to reality. The sun's coming up, he looks around, and he's sitting all alone at his desk. The visitor, gone. Even the lantern he had lit is now burned out.
So, was it all just a dream? Maybe it was. He couldn't say for sure. But here's the thing. It didn't even matter. Because the feeling, the vision, the absolute clarity he felt, that was real. The despair he'd been drowning in, it was gone. And in its place was a crystal clear vision and a mission for his people.
So in the end, Pastor Juan was given a totally new set of eyes, a new way to see his broken village, not as a lost cause, but as a place just brimming with potential. And that really just leaves one final thought for all of us, doesn't it? What's the vision that could transform your community?